What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to our match reaction after PSV Eindhoven defeat Arne Slot's Liverpool by 3-2. A result that doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, as Liverpool still finished top of the Champions League group format because of Barcelona's 2-2 draw with Atalanta. We're going to go through tonight and ask you for your thoughts on the game. Of course, going to give you mine as well. We'll have a man of the match poll in a second. But if you would like to submit your player ratings to be included in our video, you can do so with the link that is pinned to the top of the chat. And of course, we wouldn't be here tonight without our incredible sponsors, Manscaped. Get yourself 20% off and free shipping store-wide with our code Anfield20 or scan the QR code in the corner. Right, so where to go with this one, ladies and gentlemen? I think there were some good and some bad there tonight. Ultimately, the game doesn't cost us anything. Hopefully, no new fresh injury concerns either. And there will be some invaluable experience picked up for some of those players there tonight. Nalo can certainly feel rather unfortunate to have got himself a late red card as well. We'd seen goals in the game from Cody Gakpo, which was, you know, a well-taken penalty. Harvey Elliott got himself a goal as well. Chiesa got a good solid 90 minutes. I thought James McConnell in the centre of the park was phenomenal. For him to come in and do what he did tonight, I think that is a huge indication of what a good player he is. And look, there's also some players he probably wanted to see a little bit more from there tonight. Like Jayden Danns maybe didn't have the influence on the game that we would have hoped for. But we'll pick the bones out of it together. So again, keep your comments coming in. Tom said, can't lie, wasn't that interested in the game. As soon as I saw the lineups, PSV playing like it's their final. Red card was not needed. Referee trying to have a scene in the game. Poor kid. Yeah, I just don't know if that was the right decision on the red card, full stop, because I feel like we had somebody covering. But I'm more concerned from the perspective of Nalo, to be honest. Because, you know, big night for him getting on in the Champions League. And unfortunately, that's not going to be a great memory for him. And I hope it doesn't dent his confidence too much. Evening, Craig. Thoughts on Robbo? He looked pretty average. Yeah, he had some good passes in the first half, Andy Robertson. I thought he played some very good balls over the top early doors. And I thought first half we started quite brightly. Second half was a bit weird, the way the game went. But to concede 3 in the first half, you know, that's not going to be something anybody's happy about, regardless of whether it's an important game or not. Your man of the match poll, by the way, your options are McConnell, Gakpo, Chiesa and Elliott. So please do vote away on that one. Yeah, please do let me know. I mean, so far we've got Chiesa leading it, but for me, it's very straightforward. I'll give you my take at the end, though. So everybody asking about the draw. It's going to take place at 11 a.m. On Friday, and we will know our route all the way through the tournament then. I think, from what I can gather, the potential opponents for us are PSG, Benfica, Monaco or Brest, I think. Don't quote me on that just yet, but I think they're the potential opponents for us. PSG, Benfica, Monaco or Brest, I think. Connor said, Robbo wasn't terrible, but he wasn't great either. Average. You know, in an unfamiliar position for Liverpool, I thought okay. Looking across the back line, you know, Bradley did all right. Costas did all right. Kwanzaa, that's the one I'm most concerned about, to be honest. That was another error from him that's gone to a goal. And I have concerns. I can't lie. I do have concerns about Kwanzaa because I don't think he's followed up this season with what he did last season. And yeah, that's one slight negative I could take from it. Kelleher, it wasn't his best game. You know, I don't think he was to blame for anything, but he certainly didn't stand out either. So yeah, look, of those potential opponents, none of them really scare me, to be honest with you. You know, PSG obviously the most difficult of them, but Monaco or Brest, I mean, lads, if we end up getting Brest after tonight's stream, I don't know how I'm going to do the watch along. If you weren't with us for the watch along tonight, the second half was just Brest puns the entire way through. And I don't know how I can get through a watch along of that, to be honest. Yeah, so the teams that finished 15th to 18th are the potential ones for us. And it's PSG, Benfica, Monaco and Brest who finish in those positions. Mate, Kwanzaa wasn't bad. I never said he was bad. I said he made a mistake that led to the goal. And he did. Let's not sugarcoat it. He did. It was a poor clearance and he made a mess of it and it broke to their player. And then after that, we could have defended the situation better. And I never once said he had a poor game. I just said I'm worried about his confidence after another mistake. Sebastian said, hope we see more of Nallo. Yes, and look, for me, I'd love to see a little bit more of Trainioni as well. I thought Trainioni looked bright when he was on. But the big bonus for me there tonight was McConnell. He's the one that, I think of all the ones that were given an opportunity, he's the one for me that I think looked the most comfortable out there tonight and the most promising of the fringe players outside of Chiesa. And Chiesa certainly put himself about tonight and looked to make stuff happen. Won the penalty for us as well. Obviously didn't get a chance to take it because he was getting a little bit of treatment, so Gakpo did. But yeah, they're the ones for me that I think... I think McConnell most biggest beneficiary of the chance tonight. Oh, I love this from Connor. Said the Brest preview would be interesting. Plenty of research. Oh, you know me, Connor. I'm a man of research. I'll leave no stone unturned. The tackle on Jayden Danns was an absolute disgrace. Should have been a red, said Mercy. Look, the referee was awful. Like, let's be frank about that. The referee looked out of his depth out there tonight for me, with some really shitty decisions all around the pitch. Pretty disappointed with Kwanzaa and our defence as a whole, said Mike. Look, it's never great when you concede 3 goals in a half of football. But to be fair to the boys, they did keep battling. Even at the end of the game, down to 10 men, they were still trying to find a way through. Ouch. So Manchester City's road to the last 16 is either Celtic or Real or Bayern. Ouch. Celtic, what's this, Mark? You said Celtic, Real, and then Madrid or Bayern. Do you mean Celtic, Real, Madrid, Atletico Madrid or Bayern? Ouch. That's a difficult path there for City. Thoughts on Chiesa, said Tella. I thought he looked enthusiastic is the word I'd go for. There were times tonight where I thought his touch looked a little bit heavy, but the willingness was there, the energy was there, and there's a lot to like about what we've seen from Chiesa tonight. It would have been lovely if he could have capped it off with a goal. It was his strike that forced the keeper to parry the ball out for Harvey Elliott's goal, which, again, you say well done to both on that one. Elliott for being in the right position and Chiesa, obviously, for making the keeper make the save. Look, I don't want to go too deeply into it here because there's no need to get overexcited or no need to get overly annoyed by it. You know, at the end of the day, we had 13 actually, if you include Darwin, that weren't in that team. And for Liverpool to even go out there and be competitive, I think, is testament to the quality of the younger players as well there. And I think it'll be an invaluable learning experience for them and a good little look for Arne Slot at some of the fringe players as well. So I think certainly we will have learned a lot from that game there tonight, with regards to the progression of some of these players. Didinho said, I'd like to see Brest out of the cup. We always do, mate. Both of them, Didinho. Christian said, feel bad for Nello. For the red. Chiesa played well. Good to see the kids get minutes. We're on to the next round up the Reds. Yeah, definitely feel devastated for young Nello because it's never nice to see that happen to a young kid like that. But I hope he learns from it, Christian. You know, the positioning before the ball bounced, and then throwing a foot at it as well. But, you know, certainly no, he's very well thought of at the club, Nallo, and he shouldn't let his head drop about that. It should be a learning experience, and I'm sure it will be. But the main thing for me there tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is we got to rest up loads of players, 13 I guess in total, ahead of what is a massive game at the weekend against Bournemouth. And make no mistake about it, we play at 3 o'clock on Saturday, and Arsenal, who have played away tonight in Europe, have to go back and then play on the Sunday against Manchester City after our result. So if we can go to the Vitality and get a win on Saturday, it's feet back, sit up, and enjoy that game because somebody there's dropping points, and hopefully Arsenal. When's the draw? So just to caveat this, right? There isn't going to be a draw through every round of this now, like we've seen in previous iterations of the Champions League. What we're going to see now is a draw for the playoff round on Friday, 11 a.m. And that will then give everybody their pathway through to the final. So you will know your potential opponents all the way through. It's one big open draw. Liverpool are going to be facing either PSG, Benfica, Monaco or Brest. And then for Manchester City, it looks like it's Bayern or Real Madrid. Ouch. That's a horrendous potential set of games there for Manchester City in the Champions League. That is, ouch. Yeah. That is show there exactly why you got to finish in that top 8. Apart from the fact that they now have 2 extra games of football to play. Jason said, love the hoodie, where did you get it from? I got it a good while ago now, to be honest, but it was from Threads for Reds. So yeah, if you want to have a look on there, I don't know if they still sell it or not, but that's where I got it from. And I've got a few things from them over the years, and it's always been very, very good, to be fair. Great quality. Right, some of the stats from the game. Possession-wise, Liverpool finished with 47, PSV Eindhoven with 53. Total shots in the game, 12 for the home side, 5 on target, 9 for Liverpool, 5 on target. Dangerous attacks, 54 for PSV Eindhoven, 50 for Liverpool. Corners, 8 for the home side, just 2 for us. Total passes, this is one of the first games I remember this season where we were on the losing side of the amount of passes played in a game. Not that it really matters that much, but PSV had 516 to Liverpool's 453. Pass and accuracy percentage, 84 for the home side, 85 for Liverpool. Shondell Joseph said, still can't believe we've come first in the table. Yeah, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. And fair play. Congratulations to Arne Slot and the boys on a fantastic league stage of the Champions League. You know, if that game had mattered tonight, we would have won it. Or we would have won it. Let's be honest, we would have. So to go 7 games in a row winning and then have the ability to make a wholesale change and not even bring the lads over, you know, it's as good as we could have hoped for there with regards to not having to put minutes in players' legs ahead of the weekend. Why didn't we sign any player this winter? It depends who you ask. Some people will say not the right time of the year to make a signing. And then people like me will say because FSG are cheap. And I think I'm right. But, you know, there you go. Arsenal going in for Watkins. I'd seen that, Daniel, yeah. It's just been some mad bits of business. Like, if John Duran ends up going over to Saudi, what a waste of a great start to his career. Liverpool 67 said, that show we need defensive reinforcement. Couple of injuries in midfield and defence is done. Well, look, we have Joe Gomez coming back, which is good news. He's training. He should be in contention for the weekend. And having Joe back in the squad will give us a bit of breathing room because I'm not convinced yet by Kwanzaa. And I feel much more comfortable knowing that if we need to make a change there, that Joe can come in and play alongside Virgil Aribo. So that's good news anyway. And look, as many people are pointing out in the chat, and I agree, that 11 never played together before and probably will never play together again. So it was better than I expected. You know, second half was weird. I will say that the whole game in the second half just felt very odd, and then we made changes and it kind of just stunted any momentum we had. But at the start of the game, first 30-35 minutes, I thought we looked sharp and bright. The young lads looked hungry out there on the pitch. There was some good bits of play. But yeah, look, it's difficult. It was always going to be a game tonight where you just hope for no injuries, really. I don't get why Liverpool fans are slating the owners. They've been okay. You've answered your own question. Okay isn't good enough. And look, again, it's not like the owners are not giving credit for the good stuff that they've done, of which they've done plenty. But you can't be spending as little as they've spent, like 300 million something net spend in the last 8 years versus 1 billion from United, 1 billion from Chelsea, 700 from Arsenal, and think that fans are going to be happy with that. Where we are in the league's great. Where we are in the Champions League's great. Fans are optimistic in that side of things. But last season we had a similar situation, and unfortunately we faded away at the end of the season. So fans are concerned. And that's the fairest I can be about it, honestly. You can't own a football club like Liverpool and not spend in the market. This is 2 windows in a row now where we've either made a profit or done nothing. And that's just not good enough, in my opinion, and many fans' opinions. But, you know, it is a personal opinion. Now, what I would say is, if you want to hear some interesting conversation around the financial side of it, we did a great video yesterday with Mo Chatra, who's a chartered accountant who has a podcast on Anfield Index called Money Talks, and we spent 50 odd minutes breaking down the financials, and Mo explained what's possible, why we aren't doing things, and a few other bits and pieces. So I would say give that a listen, and then you can make your own mind up. Adam Smith said, I'm with you guys, but these clueless comments about players' performances are clearly stupid. McConnell did great, holds the ball under pressure. I don't know if that's aimed at me, Adam, but I've done nothing but praise McConnell today, and I've tried to... I've no problems with that game at all. I know people sometimes in the chat can get a little bit over the top, but Craig, everyone's laughing at us for losing. And Sam, sincerely, why do you care? Like, just... to take your point, Sam, you said everyone's laughing at us for losing. Cool. We're top. We finished top. So I don't really care what anybody else has to say, mate. We rested 13 first team players, lost a close game 3-2, finished top of the Champions League group stage. I'll take it. So if everybody else is laughing, then I don't know what the fuck they're laughing at, because they should be looking a lot closer to home and be more concerned about what's going on at their own clubs. Because, you know, things are pretty tickety-boo for us. How can you know when you're playing when the team's 9-24 is a playoff? You can know what positions are possible for the playoff. So for Liverpool, there's a group of 4 between... Let me just get this right. Sorry, I just want to make sure I get this right. So for Liverpool, our potential opponents are the teams that finish 15th, 16th, 17th and 18th. So they're either going to be PSG, Benfica, Monaco or Brest. That draw will be done on Friday, and then we'll know the pathway through. So that's kind of how we know where we're at. Arthur Smith said, bring on PSG/Benfica, up the Reds. Yeah, bring on them, bring on Monaco, bring on Brest. I mean, yeah, I'm not worried about any of those teams, you know, especially with the second leg guaranteed to be at Anfield for the round of 16. And Peep said Dan's over Nunes. Lol. So, Tyler, you're making a mockery of Dan's for one game, one senior game, away from home in a much changed team. And you think that that's a fair comparison to Nunes' performance with first team players around him all the time. And you want to slate Dan's for that. And you think that's a fair basis for comparison. I'm glad that we don't have many fans with that mindset. And I'm also glad that I've just banned you for your stupidity. Because that's bullshit. It's not even not even nearly a like for like comparison. And Jayden Danns is legit and will be legit moving forward. Right, so we can start to see now how this is mapping out this competition. And there's going to be some interesting games coming up. Fobby Rowler said there's some hypercritical Liverpool fans out there. Mate, there is some really fickle people that jump on, and when we're winning, we're all the best in the world. And if we draw a game, lose a game, or aren't winning after an hour, we're the worst team in the world and we should just give up. He said it recently as well in games that we've won late against teams, and they've said give up, give the title to Arsenal and City, and then we go and score and win. So yeah, you're right. There are some really embarrassing takes, and I don't get it. And I'm the one that gets slated as being over the top, by the way. But Nato wasn't the red. I'm sorry, Kwanzaa was last man. I agree, H. I said that during the game as well. I felt like there was a covering defender there. And I'm sure Arna will have a word with Nalo to say, look, don't let it get in your head. Don't let it get to him. If anything tonight, you should be looking at, Nalo getting that experience, travelling over there with the first team, getting some minutes. And if he's going to make a mistake, let it be in a game where there's not really much at stake in it. So it'll be a learning experience for the young man. Does the away goal still stand? No. That was stopped a couple of seasons ago, if my memory is correct. And look, can anybody answer me this question, actually? Because sincerely, I'm not sure about this one yet. The fact that we finished top 8 or top, does that guarantee us a second leg at home in every round through to the final? Or is it only guaranteed that in the last 16? Because I do know we're guaranteed a second leg at home in the 16, but I don't know if it carries on right the way through. What you'll see on Friday, though, is it all map out, and you will see every team's pathway through to Munich. Oh, it's just the last 16, is it? Cool. Just the last 16. Thank you. I wasn't sure about that one. If Arnold leaves, who would you prefer to sign as right back? I really don't know. I haven't given it much consideration. Probably somebody mid-20s, because we have Bradley coming through afterwards. But I don't want to think about it, because the whole situation about Trent's contract being allowed to get to this point still haunts me, to be honest, that it's even happening. The young players done us proud, even though we lost. Excited for the future. Yeah, I thought there was certainly some promising moments to take away from that in the first half. And look, McConnell, just sensational for me there in the centre of the park tonight. So the man of the match poll is up. Keep voting away. We've a few more minutes left to let that run. Your options are McConnell, Gakpo, Chiesa and Elliott. How was Bradley today, Craig? Some good and some bad, to be honest. Some lovely runs in field. Robbo played a ball over the top, and Bradley came from right to centre with a beautiful run. But some small stuff, like for their, I think, third goal, I would have liked Bradley maybe to try and get more of a block. He'd got a nick on it, and the nick actually is what took it in. But it's hard to really get a judgment off such a disjointed team with players that don't play with each other week in, week out. How was Costas? He did okay. Full of energy, as you'd always expect from Costas, making good runs, some decent deliveries. Robbo at left centre-back was interesting. They'll be home and away up to the semis. Yeah, I know that wasn't the question I was asking, Kurt. Sorry. The question I was asking was, are we guaranteed a second leg at home right throughout the rest of this draw, or was it just the round of 16 was what I was asking, mate. Sorry if I wasn't clear on that one. I'm very confused by this tournament. So now they're saying that there's another draw. So Mark said to me, turns out there's another draw in February that draws the quarterfinals, semi and final. Knockout phase draw 31st January. I'm very confused by this new format now, because I thought the whole point of this was once you get through the playoff stage, the draw's done and you map your way to the final. If there's another draw for the quarters and the semi-final, I feel like it's just been overly complicated, and what's the point? That's mad. I want to read out a comment because you're right. Biggie Mall said, Craig, am I right in thinking that you were a bit emotional when Mo was talking about the need to call out things you deem wrong with the owners? It looked like you'd finally felt a bit vindicated. Very much so. And that was my hope, bringing Mo on, because I understand I'm not qualified to speak about finances. I'm an intelligent man. and I go out of my way to be as knowledgeable as I can about all things Liverpool related. But people rightly want more evidence-based stuff, and that was the idea of bringing Mo on. And I definitely did feel, I don't want to say vindicated because that's not really the right word, but I felt relief that I'm not losing my mind, because having been absolutely rinsed and belittled and ridiculed and silenced for a long time about these views, I definitely felt vindicated to some extent, yeah. And I definitely felt a release of pressure from me, because it can be tough going. But yeah, man, good spot. Thank you. And yeah, I nearly gave up this month. All in, it got to me. The pressure really, really got to me, and I was in autopilot mode, and I was glazed-eyed going through streams. But that yesterday was a big moment for me, and yeah, like I said, I said this the other night. I did cry when I heard his podcast, when I heard him talking about calling out the journalists who are basically an extension of the club's PR department. Yeah, I shed a tear listening to that, because I didn't feel like I was on my own anymore with regards to speaking up on it. David said, yes, we're home, second leg all the way through. Oh, well, that would be delicious. Yeah, that would be delicious. Relax. This is the best game to lose. Exactly, I agree. No harm in that tonight. I just didn't want any fresh injury concerns, and I was very concerned when Chiesa went down after the challenge for the penalty. The detective said, the draw in February is to determine how the home and away legs will work from the quarterfinals onwards. UEFA should have given priority to see the teams. Yeah, look, I'm genuinely still confused trying to figure out all of this stuff. But I'm very relieved that we don't have to play in that round of 16 playoffs. That's 2 less games. But we do have our game against Everton during that time, the 11th, which is a huge game for us as well. Chris said Craig's a true inspiration to me. Thank you, mate. Look, I'm not going to lie. I nearly quit this week. And I mean properly quit, not in a strop. I mean, I thought I was going mad. And I couldn't sleep, and I was pacing around the house, and I was going back and forth over information, and I was getting shitty emails, and, you know, being belittled by people that just don't watch our channel but think they know everything about us. And I fucking struggled. I struggled. So yeah, it's been a big 48 hours. Sorry, but it just has been for me. Craig, it's true the game didn't matter, but it's still a loss on Arna's record. Yeah, but he knew that. He took that risk when he made the decision on the team, and I think he made the right decision. It's invaluable to be able to leave these lads back at the AXA and not have to travel over, to have a couple of days off and to rest up for what is potentially a defining weekend in the Premier League this weekend. If we beat Bournemouth, I've said it and I'll keep saying it, the pressure that's going to be on Arsenal's shoulders is going to be immense on Sunday. And if they drop any points and we've won, that's it. They're not coming back from that, and we're not capitulating from that. So it's huge this weekend, and that's why I don't mind Arna doing what he's done. I think it was the correct decision. Daniel said, Craig, you do such an amazing job day in, day out. Keep me going each and every other day. Thank you, man. Yeah, thank you. Brian said, Craig, keep being amazing, mate. I'm just me, mate. I'm not anything special or anything else. I just don't like being belittled, and I don't like being lied about, and I don't like being mocked and ridiculed and told to kill myself. I don't like any of that stuff. So yeah, this week felt good. But look, I take no pleasure from the ownership situation either. I want them to spend more money, and yeah, I just do. Right, let's have a look at the man of the match poll before we finish up. And your Anfield Agenda man of the match with 47% of the vote is Federico Chiesa. And congratulations to him, and well done to you guys for voting. Mac Kelly, thank you, mate, for your super chat. There it is. Do your best to not doubt yourself. Our world makes that the hardest thing to learn. Yeah, like I'm a very insecure person who doesn't have great self-esteem. So it's easy for those doubts to creep in for me. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you. If you can do me a little favour before you head off, do hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel and you haven't subscribed. I'm about to go record the player ratings video, and you still have a chance to submit yours with a link pinned to the top of the chat. And tomorrow I'll be back as always, 8:45 for the late night agenda. News video coming out tomorrow as well. And thank you all so much again for your support tonight, for coming in and joining me for what was an interesting evening, I think we'll say. Thank you to our sponsors as well. Manscaped, a reminder that you can get yourself the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra all-in-one men's grooming kit or anything else at manscaped.com with 20% off and free shipping by using our code Anfield20 at checkout. That is 20% off and free shipping with our code Anfield20. Right, ladies and gentlemen, much love. I will see you, well, hopefully you get to have a little watch of the player ratings. But if you can check out one video, do have a look at that interview with Mo Chattery yesterday. I think you'll find it very interesting. Much love. I'll talk to you.